Mud. You just can't get enough of it. But you can't find a mangrove swamp. Don't panic, I've got you covered. Because I'm going to show you 2 ways to be able to farm your mud. One manual and one semi-automatic. Let's go. Hello everyone, and it's my job today to get you loads of mud. Mud brings you so many opportunities. And farming it can be simple or complicated. Now, I don't do complicated, but I do like simple, so I've got 2 really simple mud farms for you. One where you have to do a bit of work, and another where you have to do less work. So let's crack on with it, and I'll show you how to convert them into a clay farm as well. First up, the easy method. Grab yourself a load of dirt. You probably already know that if you place down dirt and then hit it with a water bottle with the right mouse, you get a block of mud. And that's the principle of pretty much every mud farm there is on the planet. However, it's not quite that simple. If you go to lay out a load of your dirt on some grass, and you are going to want to do a load at once, you're not going to want to do them one at a time, what's going to happen is that grass is going to eventually grow over the top of the dirt. And if it does that, you can no longer turn it into mud. You can see already some of this dirt has turned into grass. Well, that's no good. You need to create a very, very slightly more complex farm. Grab yourself some steps. Grass can't grow past steps, and this feature is really useful for when you want to make yourself a mud farm. Make yourself an 8x8 square surrounded by steps. That will allow you to lay down an entire stack of dirt inside. Place a fence post with a lantern on all 4 corners to give yourself a little bit of light. Put down a chest for storage, and then grab yourself a shovel. It doesn't matter what side you do this on, but I do it on the side of the chest. Dig out 3 holes like that. Place a water bucket at one end, a water bucket at the other end. You then get yourself 2 more upside down steps. Place one at that end and one at that end. That means you can refill your water as much as you want without the risk of slipping and taking it out of one end, which would end your water source. You can then take your time and, using your water bottles, turn all of your dirt into mud. And once you've got your water bottles empty, just fill them up from your water source like that and keep on going until you've done all 64. And once you're finished, just dig out that mud and you can replace it with more dirt and create another stack of mud. Now, you could also turn this into a clay farm really easily. Let me show you how. Come to one corner of the farm and dig out yourself a little tunnel into and underneath the farm. So you can see there, that is underneath my first block. I'm going to need to come down another level and I'm going to dig out that area all the way underneath. Once you've got your 8x8 square directly underneath your mud, grab a pointed dripstone and place one on each block. So as you've got 64 pointed dripstones pointing downwards towards your floor. Once you've got all 64 of those pointed dripstones in, come back to the top of your farm and you will see it's already starting to turn into clay. This is the world's most simple clay farm. But if you think that feels just a little bit too manual, I do have a semi-automatic method for you that you might prefer. Let's go. This second one is quite extravagant because you do need quite a lot of resources, mainly iron. But don't worry, I've got an iron farm that will sort you out. It's up on the screen now and there is a link in the description below. Finish watching this one first though, alright? Everything you need for this farm is up on the screen right now, so pause the video, take a screenshot, do what you got to do, and let's get on with it. Place a row of 12 hoppers pointing into the ground, and then using shift click, place 12 dispensers on top of them. In front of the hoppers, place a stone based block. I'm using mud bricks. Then come into every hopper and place an empty bottle in each of the hopper slots, just like that. Make sure you get every single hopper like this. And then come into each dispenser and fill the dispensers up with these water bottles. You only want there ever to be full water bottles inside these dispensers, so those hoppers with empty bottles underneath will suck out any of the empty bottles that you create when you create your mud. Come around the back and place a solid block on the back of each of these dispensers, and then place redstone along that entire row. You're then going to place another hopper going into each and every one of these dispensers. I did tell you that you would use a lot of iron. Go on, go and get that iron farm I mentioned earlier. You're then going to shift click 2 blocks into the end of that row of hoppers and 1 block into this end. You're then going to place a temporary block on there and a permanent block there, a temporary block there and a permanent block there. Then going to grab some powered rails. You're going to place 1 powered rail there, 1 powered rail there, and then 1 powered rail all the way up at this end. You're then going to get a lever and place it on the side of that block, turn it on. You're going to come to this one, side of that block, turn it on. You're going to grab these 12 rails, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. With a shift click, you're going to get a hopper, and you're going to place 2 hoppers like that. You're then going to place a double chest on top of those 2 hoppers, a hopper to the side, and then a double chest on top like that. And you are now going to fill both of those double chests with water bottles. And once you've done that, you're going to place a minecart with hopper at that end and let it go backwards and forwards, picking up water bottles out of these hoppers, which takes it out of that chest, which takes it out of that hopper, which takes it out of that chest. You can see it's already going down. And at this point, you could top it up with more water bottles if you wish. And this is the point where you can test your farm. Let's grab some dirt. Place a block of dirt on top of each of these blocks, being careful to point at the block and not the dispenser. You are then going to press this little button here, and when you do, all of these blocks are going to turn into mud at the same time. There you go. You can then come along, dig these mud blocks out all the way to the end and replace them with more dirt. And you can do this as many times as you want. This is semi-automatic. You do have to do the digging, but you don't have to do the sploshing. It's a good idea to create yourself just a little water source like we did before to make sure you can refill all of those bottles when you need to. And when your chests start to get empty like these ones have, what you can do is you can come around and you can check underneath. You'll notice that your hoppers have started to gain more glass bottles. If you take out all but one of those glass bottles, you can then come around to the front and refill that and pop it back up into your chest. That is a completed semi-automatic dirt farm. Now let me show you how to turn that into a clay farm. First off, you'll need to move your water source, because you are going to need to come down 2 blocks right in front of your farm like this. Then dig out the block underneath the block that holds the mud and place a pointed dripstone on the underneath of each and every one of these blocks the same way you did before. You can then fill in this hole because you're not going to need to access that anymore. Once you've put all the dirt on top of those blocks again, press your button, they will turn into mud, and then eventually, the same way as the easy farm did, they will turn into clay. After about 2.5 to 3 minutes, we've got all but one of those blocks as transformed. And you can mine out that clay in exactly the same way as you did the mud before. That is your fully functional farm, but maybe we need to make it look a little bit more fancy. That's a bit better. So there you have 2 mud farms that are also 2 clay farms. If you want a really simple mud farm, use the first one. If you want a semi-automatic one, use this one. I hope you enjoyed this really quick Minecraft 1.19 farm tutorial. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you haven't got anything to say in the comments below, then just go down and say hello. Because it really helps out the channel. And I will look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.